Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and today is March 8th. This is an exciting day. I've been up exercising, enjoying the company of the boys, and now I'm taking some time to sit down with you and do the Just for Today in a meditation. I'd like to invite you to take a moment of silence with me, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. We are not God. Grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today. Beautiful. I want to get right into the reading. Need to be somewhere at 9 o'clock, and I'm running out of time, which is why I really think doing this the night before is better. But nonetheless, we're together, so let's go ahead and let me share the screen. Hopefully you can see that. Let me drop this a little bit. Just for today, March 8th, learning to love ourselves. What we want most is to feel good about ourselves. Basic text, page 101. We'll love you until you can learn to love yourself. These words, heard so often in our meetings, promise a day we look forward to eagerly. The day when we will know how to love ourselves. Self-esteem. We all want this elusive quality as soon as we hear about it. Some of us seem to stumble upon it accidentally, while others embark on a course of action complete with affirmations made to our reflections in the mirror. But fix-it-yourself techniques and trendy psychological cures can only take us so far. There are some definite practical steps we can take to show love for ourselves, whether we feel that love or not. We can take care of our personal responsibilities. We can do nice things for ourselves as we would for a lover or a friend. We can start paying attention to our own needs. We can even pay attention to the qualities that we cherish in our friends, qualities like intelligence and humor, and look for those same qualities in ourselves. We're sure to find that we really are lovable people. And once we do that, we're well on our way. Just for today, I will do something today that helps me recognize and feel love for myself. That's a beautiful meditation for today. What we want most is to feel good about ourselves. And it's true, I think it's kind of cliche when people are sharing. Sometimes we hear them say, well, to the newcomer, we'll love you until you learn to love yourself. And depending on whoever is sharing, there might be evidence that they love themselves and are recovering in that area. And it just may be someone sharing it that isn't really giving evidence that they love themselves. But because it has become so cliche, we say it. And basically, I think what that means is that we're going to stay in your corner. We're going to keep hope alive for you. We're going to always have a hug for you. We're going to, I'm saying collectively, right? We're always going to have a hug for you. We're always going to embrace you, regardless to what you share and how complicated or difficult or bad it may sound to yourself. We're never going to judge that. We're going to allow you room to grow through into the you that you can become as a result of the spiritual principles of Narcotics Anonymous, these steps, right? So I think that's what that means. And I think that sometimes, uh, as someone that has been here, 28 years, I think that for me personally, what that means is that I am paying attention to my physical health today. I'm paying attention to the aches and the pains or the telltale signs that are indicating that my body is wearing down or I'm getting older. Um, and I'm doing the things that I need to do to ensure that I'll be around a little bit longer. For me, that equates to prayer, meditation, eating right, and exercise. When I have those four bases covered, I feel pretty darn good. And I feel like I can go out into, society and do the things that are requested of me. But I challenge you today to figure out what that means for you, right? We can read these meditations and share profoundly at meetings about them, or we can discard them. So today I'm challenging you to figure out what learning to love yourself looks like. What does loving yourself look like? We pretty much have a real good idea of what it doesn't look like. It doesn't look like drinking ourselves into oblivion. It doesn't look like drunk driving. It doesn't look like driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol, right? It doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like a needle in your arm. It doesn't look like, snorting, inhalants. We know that there are some very clear things that it doesn't look like, actively using, in other words, right? To be clear about that. But once you put down the drug, then what happens? Typically, what happens when an individual ceases to use a substance to self-medicate, and they no longer are chasing the next one, because really, right, the drug was just a symptom of our disease. And if you break that down, dis-ease, uneasiness with oneself, right? Something is array, right? So what that looks like for an individual coming into the program, it may vary a little bit, but typically what that means is that they're no longer using anything to put on top of their ill feelings, ill emotions, and ill behavior. And I say behavior because they still probably are acting out in many ways that they haven't arrested yet. But one thing they have arrested is that they're not using drugs anymore. So what that looks like is that now that you're not using anything to sugarcoat or put on top of those bad feelings that you were trying to push further away from you. Maybe you've lost your children. Maybe you've lost a marriage or two. Maybe you've are responsible for the death of someone that you hung out with because of actively using, and you're trying to be rid of the survivor's guilt, right? So now that you're not using drugs, these things, they basically have free reign, right? They're no longer being subsided or pushed down or pushed back as a result of using. So now they have room to breathe. And the newcomer has to be very careful at this stage, because if you give it room to breathe and you don't put something else on it, not the drug, but the recovery, if you don't put recovery on it and you don't put the steps on it, the spiritual principles, and you don't use the fellowship as a form of a new family to help you walk through those things, those same emotions that you were trying to push away by using drugs, now they have room to take even greater breath, a greater depth, a greater width within your person, your spiritual person. And that's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate to stop using drugs and then find out how horrible you actually feel about all of the things that you've been running from, and you don't have an answer for it. So what happens is that if you don't have an answer for that, hurt people hurt people. You get into mindless relationships, mindless situations, mindless spending and gambling. You transfer your obsession then transfers over to another behavior. Mindless sex acts. I mean, the list can go on, right? So that's why you want to learn how to love yourself. That's why you want to use the 12 steps and spiritual principles along with the fellowship to start having that internal dialogue about how to better take care of yourself. For some people, it's just going to be taking a shower or a bath. Not just, that's a big deal, right? To clean your body on a regular basis. For some people, they need to go buy toothbrushes and toothpaste and actually use them every day. For some people, maybe they've lost all of their teeth using. They need to make appointments to have a dentist take care of that and look at that. For some people, it will be changing into fresh underwear or clothes every day. Some people that have been around, maybe you have all of that personal hygiene stuff down, but you have a ton of bills that you have refused to pay. And the mail is still coming and the bills are still going unanswered and you have absolutely no credit, right? So for some that have been around, maybe it's just that I'm going to pay each bill, $5, $10 every time I get paid or once a month. You're going to become financially responsible. And when you do that, you feel better. You don't feel like you're running from something. You don't have those hidden thoughts of, I can't take that phone call, right? It's a collector, it's a bill collector. For other people, even myself, it's just eating right and taking care of my physical body. When I do those things, I feel better. I feel on top of the world and I feel like I am loving myself. People that are really effective and are able to get a lot of things done, multitask, people notice that. So they're quick to try to pull you and draw you onto their agendas. Maybe loving yourself is saying, you know what, I have 1, 2, 3 projects I'm working on that's going to take me however long. If you still need some help when I'm done with what I'm working on, I'll reach out to you and you can let me know and I'll let you know how I can be of some help, right? So it's learning how to say no and mean it. It's learning how to say yes and mean it. So it is like a shapeshifter. It kind of changes. This loving yourself sort of changes as you go. But here's the key, guys. You're clean and you can do it. You can absolutely do it. This is about recovering hope. Lost dreams awaken and new possibilities arise. So whatever learning to love yourself means, we just really want to feel better about ourselves. And, I kind of challenge that. I don't always just want to feel better about myself, right? Feel better. But I want to have faith in who I am. And I also want to be able to have faith in other people. I want to feel better, not just about myself, but about other people as well in their circumstances. I want to bring something to the table and not always be in a position where I'm taking. I want to be able to give. So listen, I hope that helps you today. I hope that something I've said resonates with you today. Today is the only March 8th, 2022 that you're ever going to get. So go out there, be hopeful, go out there and recover. Go out there and live your best, your absolute best life. I sort of feel like I'm in a meeting and I want to say, with that, I'm going to pass. But that's ridiculous, right? It's a podcast. This is Hood Recovery Services, Hope Offered on Demand. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Again, my name is MightyStream, and I hope that you have a beautiful day. You deserve it.